My boyfriend is the CEO's personal assistant. Our favorite daily pastime is gossiping about the dramatic, love-hate saga between the domineering CEO and his caged canary. Gradually, the way my boyfriend referred to the caged canary began to change. It evolved from the caged canary to Miss Jian, and finally to Xing Xing. The spiced melon seeds in my hand suddenly didn't taste good anymore. The next day, I quickly ordered a fluorescent green hat and personally delivered it to the young master. Brother, I specially picked this for you. I really am not implying anything. 1. He Qingrui is almost home. Wonder what juicy gossip we'll hear today. Just thinking about it makes me happy. He Qingrui handed me his briefcase, looking completely drained. Mian Mian, he slumped into the sofa. Boss Wu is getting engaged. Wow, the #1 playboy in the capital, the perennial heir with a revolving door of minor influencers. He's actually settling down. With who? My eyes lit up. His kept woman, or that well-matched Miss Zhao from before. He frowned, his tone sharp as if he had swallowed gunpowder. I've told you so many times, she's not a caged bird. She has a career, a name, and her name is Jianxing. Xing Xing. I was stunned, not because he was harsh with me. Is it because, when did he change his way of addressing her? We always used code names when we were gossiping. For example, Huasiu, the young master, was referred to by a code name, and his girlfriend was called things like Canary, Oriole, Little Fox, and so on. Why does it sound a bit intimate when he calls her Xing Xing every time? Are they on good terms? Hearing him say that, it made me do some soul-searching. Gossiping behind someone's back is bad enough, but using a derogatory nickname is even worse. It was indeed inappropriate. I nodded vigorously. You're right. I deeply reflect on my actions, and I apologize to Miss Jianxing. I picked up a handful of melon seeds, but the name Xing Xing you just mentioned is too easy to expose. It should be Chi-Chi. He looked puzzled. Is there any connection? The name Jianxing is 2 characters. That's like Wang Yuan, like TFBOYS, like Yuan like Kaisha Shihuan Ni, which is 7 characters. 7. He Qingrui rolled her eyes and told me I was crazy. I just chuckled. Isn't it precisely because we're both such chatterboxes, both so full of nonsense, that we ended up as partners in crime? Come on, tell me, I urged, gently shaking his arm. He jerked his arm away sharply. What's there to say? All you ever do is gossip about other people's drama. I hope you choke on it. The air fell silent for a couple of seconds. He never gets mad at me, especially when it comes to eating melon, because we all agree that eating melon is sacred. We must present a united front and never turn against each other. He probably realized his tone was off. Awkwardly added I'm tired, and went into the bedroom. I didn't chase after it. He Qingrui seemed off, but I didn't think much of it. My gossip soul is roaring. I quickly dialed the phone of my backup gossip buddy Ms. Jiang Lian, a colleague of He Qingrui's and a classmate of mine. Darling, you won't believe this, Mr. Hu is engaged to Ms. Zhao. Wait, not Jianxing, but he went all out for her. 999 drones for a sky show, 9,999 Fandela roses. How could it not be her? Mr. Hu is nicknamed the heartbreaker of the capital's elite circle, as none of his girlfriends have lasted more than 3 months yet. He dated Jianxing for a full 2 years. Everyone thought Mr. Hu had finally found true love. To everyone's surprise, he still ended up taking the well-trodden path of a marriage of convenience. Jiang Lian lowered her voice, delivering the highest standard opening line in the gossip world. You absolutely must not tell anyone. I'm only telling you. I immediately covered the microphone, my heart racing. I heard that Mr. Hu discovered Jianxing's infidelity, too. How could that be? Jiang Lian's eardrums were perforated by my shock. Right, I didn't believe it either at the time. Jianxing's guts are really something, daring to cheat on the crown prince. How did you find out about the affair? Don't tell me it's a misunderstanding. Jiang Lian sighed. I don't know either. Why don't you ask your family's secretary? He's the emperor's close aide. He must know everything. Speaking of which, it reminds me of my boyfriend's odd behavior today. After hanging up, I put on my dinosaur pajamas, planning to cheer up He Qingrui. He was in the shower. My phone was on the nightstand, pinging with incoming messages. I never meant to look. The problem is, I had my face registered. The real issue is this feature is way too sensitive. The screen lit up. Only one person is pinned, not me. The name is my beloved S. Xing Xing. Don't cry. It's all my fault. I'll keep an eye on Mr. Hu for you and put in a good word. Xing, please don't leave me. I really do love you. A reply came instantly. What about Sister Mian Mian? Do you like her more, or do you like me more? He Qingrui replied. How could she ever compare to you? She's just a broke loser living paycheck to paycheck. whose only hobby is prying into other people's business. The person on the other end send a cute emoji. You're the best. Qingrui, moi, Xing, Jianxing. My mind went blank for a few seconds. Jianxin's affair partner is my boyfriend. Instinctively, I wanted to grab my phone and share the juicy gossip with Jianglian. Suddenly, I realized I was the main subject of the gossip. Before I could even process the sudden turn of events, the bathroom door swung open. Qingrui saw the still-lit screen in my hand, and his face instantly went pale. You went through my phone. I thought I would smash the phone, slap him, expose all his secrets, break up with him on the spot, all in one furious, seamless motion, but in reality, I just pathetically placed the screen face down on the bed, forcing a smile that was uglier than a grimace. I can't find my phone, let me borrow yours to make a call. His expression softened a bit. He grunted in acknowledgement, then lay back down to scroll through short videos. I stared at the back of his head. That's the same back of the head that just days ago was staying up with me, digging into the young master's love life, munching on sunflower seeds, and cursing out that scumbag Hua. That's the back of the head belonging to the guy I dated for 2 years, the one I thought was finally my soulmate in the gossip trenches. Turns out he'd already switched gossip circles a long time ago. I picked up my phone and dialed a number I'd never had the courage to call before. The phone rang twice before he picked up. Hey, bro, I said, there's this really nice hat. I can bring it over to you myself. There was a 2-second silence on the other end. His voice was lazy, tinged with a hint of amusement. What color is the hat? I looked at the fluorescent green dinosaur pajamas on the bedside table and answered sincerely. Green, very green, green to the point of glowing. 3. I met Qingrui during a gossip incident that day. I was walking back to the dorm with a few packs of spiced melon seeds. A crowd of agitated people suddenly appeared ahead. My radar immediately went off. This was no ordinary crowd. It was a gravitational pull of people, a restless particle of gossip in the air. It was the tea. I pushed through the crowd with the speed of a recruit rushing for chow, securing the best front row view. What's going on here? I don't get it, someone nearby muttered, scratching their head. I took a quick look at the scene. A red-haired guy was flushed bright red, a middle-aged woman was gripping his arm, and a bespectacled guy stood nearby, head hung low. Got it, some old, overripe gossip. I was cracking sunflower seeds while providing commentary. The 2 guys are roommates, and this lady is the red-haired guy's mother. A guy next to me seamlessly picked up the thread of conversation. The mom and the guy with glasses are dating, and they're meeting in her son's bedroom. The classmate went from stunned to speechless. I locked eyes with this guy. We saw mutual appreciation in each other's eyes. I reached out my hand. Hello, pediatrician Qin Niannian. Hello, computer scientist He Qingrui. That handshake cost the medical field a future pediatric giant and the internet a soon-to-be bald programmer, and thus a duo of black and white specters rose in the realm of gossip. We treat gossiping as a required course. He writes crawlers, I do analysis. With an absolutely rational thought process, we take gossiping to the extreme. When the news broke that a male star had cheated, while the entire internet was still digesting secondhand gossip, we had already compiled the timeline, relationships, and travel schedules. Within 3 hours of posting, the article had garnered over 5 million views. The comments section was full of, did you guys live under their bed? You should check the IP address. It's reasonable to suspect it's the person themselves. With analytical skills like that, it's a shame you're not working for state security. The account gained 300,000 followers overnight. Furthermore, the account kept posting updates, and its follower count has since surpassed 1 million. We're on the same wavelength about more than just the latest gossip. We binge watch shows together, rant about them together, and complain about our clients together. We're so in sync, it's like we were a couple in a past life. I thought this was how it was always going to be, munching on seeds, gossiping, and casually falling in love. Only now did I realize, turns out he wasn't without his canary. He was just raising someone else's canary. For I couldn't sleep a wink that night. I realized, to my surprise, that I hesitated when the thought of breaking up crossed my mind. My mind raced, drafting a meticulous post-mortem report on the relationship. Could it be that I've been too busy with work lately and haven't had time to sit with him and eat sunflower seeds? Was it because I used his precious limited edition keyboard cover to hold instant noodles last time, hurting his feelings? Is it because I always make him go downstairs to get takeout, and his love is like those cold Huang Menji, slowly cooling down? I sat on the couch, hugging the tail of my dinosaur pajamas, seriously reflecting on myself. Then I slapped myself. Qin Mian Mian, are you out of your mind? He cheated. He had an Emotional affair, he pinned another woman, with a heart symbol in the note. What are you reflecting on here? Reflecting on whether you didn't roll out the red carpet for this relationship. In the early hours of the morning, the exhausted mind is left blank. All those overlooked details began to unfold one by one, he said. I took Canary home today and found out she has a puppy. It's really cute, he said. I took Miss Jian home today. She shared a lot of fascinating knowledge about jewelry design. He said, I took Xingxing home today, mister, was said something hurtful again, and she cried. It didn't sit well with me either. What was I doing at that time? I was eating sunflower seeds. I was nodding while eating. Oh, and then what? What did Mr. would do? Looking back, where did things go wrong? The problem lies with Mr. What, you're having your secretary drive your girlfriend home every damn day? Is this even dating? This is more like team building. I looked at the package I'd just received. 2 fluorescent green hats, every stitch of them glowing with a mocking green light. I had originally planned to give one to Mr. Hua and keep the other for myself. I've changed my mind, he can have them both. 5. He see you as my stepbrother, for certain reasons. Few people know about this, we pretend not to know each other in public, but things are different now. My boyfriend cheated on his girlfriend. Who else would I hold accountable for this mess? He chose the restaurant, with an average of 3,800 per person. A bottle of sparkling water is priced at $9.99. I held the bubbling liquid in my hand and whispered, evil capitalists. As soon as the words left my mouth, a waft of Dior Sauvage hit me. I looked up. Hosiu took a seat opposite me, clad in a tailored black overcoat, his hair slicked back with not a single strand out of place. He glanced at me, a perfectly infuriating smirk curling at the corner of his mouth. Long time no see. He paused. You look as shabby as ever. I looked down at myself. A peeling hoodie, faded jeans, and a $10 canvas bag. He was right, but I won't admit it. It's really heartbreaking, he added. There was no trace of heartache in his tone. Hosiu has always been like a peacock since he was a child. He's constantly showing off. The difference is, others show off to attract a mate. He shows off to attract a beating. I can't be bothered with small talk. I think my boyfriend is cheating on me. His eyebrow arched, a spark of schadenfreude instantly igniting in his eyes. Well, congratulations, it's Jianxing. The corner of his mouth plummeted from its peak, falling faster than the stock market. I took something out and slowly slid it across the table, a fluorescent green baseball cap. Loose threads were still visible, a green so brazen and unapologetic. Give it a try, I said. I think it suits you. Hosiu slammed his hat down on the ground with a sharp crack. Are you out of your mind? I crossed my arms. If you hadn't made He Qingrui drive Jian Shin home every day, would he have cheated? As a CEO, don't you have a driver? Why does your secretary have to drive your girlfriend? Can't you afford a chauffeur or a taxi? It's all your fault anyway. I paused, adopting a negotiating stance. Figure it out yourself. Hosiu stared at me as if I were a case escaped from a mental hospital. He opened his mouth, his eyes rolling halfway. Young Master Hua, don't listen to her nonsense. A female voice suddenly interjected. I really have no relationship with Secretary He. I turned my head. Jianxin stood 3 meters away, her eyes slightly red, looking vulnerable. Standing beside her was He Qingrui. He was holding her bag, Hermes, a limited edition. The anniversary gift I gave him was a Logitech keyboard. He carries Hermes for others. I suddenly felt that green hat. It was given to the wrong person. 6. Jianxing's eyelashes were adorned with teardrops, one by one rolling down. Those teardrops rolled with professional precision, just the right amount, perfectly poised on the verge of falling, appearing both wronged and strong. She looked at me, her voice as soft and pliant as soaked snow fungus. Mian Mian, do you have some misunderstanding about me? Let's clear the air today, okay? Secretary He and I are really just friends. Please don't ruin my relationship with young Master Hua. All right. Having said that, she began to sob again, shoulders trembling like pear blossoms in the spring breeze. He Qingrui stood beside the pear blossoms, holding her Hermes, her face filled with heartache. I didn't even get a chance to speak. The table next to us exploded first. Oh my god, isn't that Mr. Hua's lady? Everyone in Beijing knows Jianxin is the apple of the young master's eye. Who is this woman? Who does she think she is? Coming out here to steal someone? Exactly. Are mistresses these days really so shameless, blocking the legal wife in broad daylight? Hey, look at her. She's 10 years older than Jianxing, right? How could Mr. Hua possibly be interested in I was stunned. 10 years older than me. I took out my phone, switched to the front-facing camera, and studied my reflection on the screen. This is the face worn out for the nation's future, the glorious badge of honor from the pediatric ER at 3 a.m. All right, fine, I admit I'm completely defeated. I glanced at Hwasiu out of the corner of my eye. He was suppressing a laugh, watching the scene unfold. Now, looking at He Qingrui, he was looking down at Jianxin, his brow furrowed, his gaze so soft it could almost drip with tenderness, as if he couldn't wait to wipe away her tears himself. Didn't even glance at me. 7. That's what it feels like to be the owner of a melon patch. As a veteran in the world of onlookers, I know the crowd all too well. These people are like tumbleweeds, blowing whichever way the wind takes them. They don't care about the truth. They only care if there's fresh gossip today, since you want to indulge. Let me serve you something substantial. I slowly moved over to Hwasiu's side. Then, I gently placed my hand on my stomach. I'm sorry, sister. I kept my head down, my voice a mixture of shyness, guilt, and a reckless sense of having nothing left to lose. Actually, I'm pregnant with Mr. Hwa's child. The room fell silent. The atmosphere was indistinguishable from that of a morgue. The Australian tomahawk steak I just ate in my stomach gave a timely twitch. I looked up, my face full of surprise. Ah, the baby moved. It must have sensed its father's presence and was so happy. Thud. Someone at the next table dropped their fork, and then someone at the table beyond that spilled their coffee. I heard a sharp intake of breath. Someone was so stunned they forgot to put their phone away, its camera light still on, and Jianxing's face instantly drained of color. It's not pear blossom white, it's wall paint white. Impossible. Her voice trembled. You, aren't you the girlfriend of Secretary He? How could you possibly be pregnant with Mr. Hwa's child? He Qingrui finally looked at me. He grabbed my wrist with a force that hurt. Stop it, Mian. He lowered his voice, thinking I was going crazy. I know you're jealous. Let's go home first. We'll talk about it there. I ignored him. I turned my head and gazed at Hwasiu with deep affection. I even managed to squeeze out a single tear from the corner of my eye. Hwasiu met my gaze. His expression was complex. It felt like swallowing a whole lemon, or like accidentally eating spoiled yogurt. Then, a painfully fake smile slowly spread across his face. He said. Mine. A dead silence fell over the room. 8. Mount Fuji erupted. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. This isn't the mistress, this is the wife. Wait, did I hear that right? The wife is Secretary He's girlfriend. Boss Hwa really gets around. Even stealing from his own subordinate. Drama of the year. I fucking saw it with my own eyes. I'm gonna submit this. I'm submitting it to Melon God. Let millions of netizens feast their eyes on this. My smile froze on my face. It feels like I've shot myself in the foot. Subtle. Too subtle. Jianxing finally lost her composure. That perpetually gentle and gracious face now looked like a piece of soggy tissue paper. She took a step forward, almost falling to her knees. Mr. Hwa, it's not what you think. I really have nothing going on with Secretary He. Her voice trembled uncontrollably, and the teardrops clinging to her eyelashes finally fell, smearing her face. Hwasiu didn't even look at her. He put his arm around my shoulder and walked through the crowd, like an emperor on a procession, like a peacock spreading its tail, like acting in some potent man literature but with the wrong script. He Qingrui chased after me a couple of steps. Mian. He called my name. I turned around. When did you, with him? His voice caught, as if he couldn't bring himself to finish. Why would you do this to me? I looked at him, at the Hermes scarf still clutched in his hand, at that familiar face. The face I'd shared so many laughs and scathing remarks with over sunflower seeds. I want to say, why, because you started it, but I didn't say a word. Hwasiu had already shoved me into the back seat, the car door slammed shut, and the world fell silent. He settled into the driver's seat and glanced at me in the rearview mirror. It's been 12 years since I was last back, he said. The tone is unusually serious. I turned my head to look out the window. The road to the Hwa family's ancestral home is lined with plane trees. When I was 7, my mother married into the family, and I sat in the back seat, looking out the window just like this. Back then, Hwasiu was 14, standing at the door like a peacock forced to perform. After that, I never came back again, not after my mother died. 12 years passed in a flash. 9. The room looked just as I remembered. The curtains were a pale, buttery yellow my mother had picked out, and a fine layer of dust had settled on the bookshelves. Hwasiu came in, carrying a quilt. Not letting me lift a finger, I sat on the window seat, watching him hunch over to tuck the four corners of the duvet into its cover. How did you find out Jianxing was cheating? He didn't stop what he was doing with his hands. Saw it with my own eyes. Well, congratulations. I mean it with all my heart. It's not He Qingrui. I fell silent for 3 seconds. Jianxing, a true role model for our generation, daring to cuckold the crown prince, and even stepping on, how many? I asked, lost count. He showed no expression. I couldn't help but wonder, why aren't you the least bit sad? After all, she was with you for 2 years. Wasiu didn't answer. He stuffed the pillow into the case and patted it firmly twice. Clap, clap, clap. I feel a bit of pain in my face. He finally looked up and glanced at me. You seem quite happy. I lowered my eyes. I held the bright red strawberry in my hand, its sweetness almost cloying. I took a bite. Despite the sweetest flesh, I tasted salt as I chewed. For years, how could it not hurt? I just don't dare to stop and think, afraid that if I do, I'll fall apart. The pre-dawn hours, thunder began to rumble outside the window, a low, rolling boom, muffled and distant, like someone pushing a giant boulder across the horizon. It's been a long time since I've slept alone. Thunderstorm night. These 3 words were like a spell, instantly pulling me back to that evening 10 years ago. Rose, blood. My mother lay collapsed in the flower bed, her hand reaching toward the sky, her lips moving soundlessly. I couldn't make out what she was saying. All I remember is that expanse of red, impossible to tell if it was petals or blood. She said, Mian Mian, come keep me company, sweetheart. She said, boom, another clap of thunder. I curled into a ball, my back drenched in cold sweat. The pajamas clung to my skin, cold as if they'd just been fished out of water. He Qingrui. The thought came to me like a drowning man clutching a piece of driftwood. Every time it happened, he would pull me into his arms, holding me tight, and say it over and over, I'm here, Mian Mian, don't be afraid, Mian Mian. He scoured the internet for all the latest gossip, from celebrity scandals to the neighbor's lost dog, and recounted every single story to me until dawn. He kept talking until my trembling stopped. Speaking of being able to breathe again, not tonight, not ever again. The heart feels as if it's being gripped by an invisible hand. Twisted tighter and tighter, I opened my mouth wide, but couldn't draw in a single breath of oxygen. Boom, the door burst open with a bang. 10. When Wasiu rushed in, he had buttoned his pajamas wrong. Open your mouth. He shoved the medicine to my mouth. His other hand had already pulled out his phone. Dr. Lee, come over right now. Yes, now, immediately, right away. I curled up in bed, cold sweat soaking a patch of the pillow. My heart felt like it was being squeezed and twisted by a hand. Brother, it hurts so much. It really hurts. He looked down at me. He paused for a moment, then, he tucked the phone between his ear and shoulder, freeing his hand to brush the stray hairs from my forehead. Take the medicine, and the pain will go away, he said. His voice was soft, as if soothing a frightened cat. Sleep well, sweet one. I was taken aback. He performed the whole routine with practiced ease, smoothing my hair, slipping me the pill, murmuring reassurances. In the weeks after Mom died, I had nightmares every night. Each time I woke, I'd find him standing in the doorway. He never said a word, just stand there, then started passing water, then started passing medicine. I endured the dull pain in my chest and difficultly extended my thumb to give him a thumbs up. He glanced down at my hand, rolled his eyes dramatically. Save it, he said. You're shaking so much, you can barely like a post. I insisted. It's about the sense of ceremony. Before I could finish my sentence, my consciousness slipped away. When I came to again, it was still dark outside. A small nightlight was on by the bed, casting a dim, yellowish glow. I could hear the balcony door was slightly ajar, and Wasiu's voice drifted in, broken and intermittent. Right, have him clear out his desk today. No severance package. The reason, conduct unbecoming. Should I put that in your termination letter? My mind was still foggy, but that statement hit me like a bucket of ice water, shocking away the last remnants of sleep. He Qingrui, he's going to fire. He Qingrui. I struggled to move. My lower body is numb. I'm numb. My body's gone numb from lying here, but I can't just let him lose his job. His mother's a gambling addict. His father's been paralyzed from a stroke for 5 years, and his younger brother just started college. He's the one paying the tuition. If he loses his job on top of all that, that broken man, and his broken home, we're truly shattered to pieces. Gone for good. I took a deep breath. Bracing my hands on the edge of the bed, I let myself flow out from under the covers. Yes, flow. I crawled toward the balcony, moving on all fours like a prehistoric creature, a complete regression in human evolutionary terms. Wasiu hung up the phone and turned around. Then he saw me, a disheveled, ghostly woman with messy hair and pajamas, crawling on the floor. He was clearly startled, nearly dropping his phone. Are you insane? I grabbed the hem of his pajama pants. Don't fire. He Qingrui. His brow furrowed. A transfer will do, I added. He looked down at me, his Expression complicated. After a long moment, he clicked his tongue in disapproval. Chin Mian Mian, he called me by my full name. You're a hopeless romantic. It's not a question, it's a statement. 11. The phone screen lit up. He Chingrui's profile picture popped up, followed by a cascade of green message bubbles curled up on the bay window of the Hu family's old house. I scrolled down through them one by one. He Chingrui 21. 37. Mian Mian, you can't do this to me. I thought to myself, well, when you were flirting with Jianxing late at night, did you ever think about how that would make me feel? He Chingrui 21. 38. You promised you would always be there for me, I thought to myself, but you were the one who let go first. He Chingrui 21. 39. When did you get so cozy with Mr. Hu? All those times you said you were working overtime, you were lying to me, weren't you? You've been sneaking around behind my back, haven't you? I thought to myself, every time he says I'm seeing Xingxing home, does he mean to her doorstep or straight into her heart? He Chingrui 21. 41. I finally see you for who you are. You acted so innocent, but you're really quite the actor. I thought to myself, how long have you been pretending to love me? He Chingrui 21. 43. I'm telling you, Mr. Who truly loves Jianxing, he's just playing around with you, pregnant or not, it won't matter. I'm waiting for the day you get dumped. I stared at this and laughed. What a pathetic lapdog. You're on your knees yourself, yet you expect others to do the same, taking over the mess and thinking the whole world is fighting for this spoiled dish. I didn't reply to any of them. Then I clicked into settings, my finger hovering over the add to blacklist button. I paused for a moment. Well, there's really nothing to dwell on. For years, we built a 1 million follower account together, and we'd spam each other with memes at 3 a.m. Those things were real, but all of that is in the past now. Now he's someone else's knight. I clicked add to blacklist. 12. Goodbye He Chingrui. It was in my clinic. He and Jianxin brought a child. We stood face to face. His face was ashen. Is that you? I shifted my gaze back to the computer screen, resting my fingers on the keyboard. A colleague had something come up, so I'm covering their shift. All right, what's going on? Ms. Qin, Jianxin began. Now that you're Mrs. Hu, must you still toil away at a job yourself? I lifted the left corner of my mouth in a perfectly measured smirk. Well, it's not like I'm some kept canary, I said, pitching my voice into sickeningly sweet territory. I have a proper career. Of course I'm going to shine in my own role, otherwise, how can I treat your child? Huh, Jianxing's face looked like a dying eggplant. I seized the moment, wearing a concerned expression. Oh dear, this is a pediatric hospital. We can't treat adults here. Please don't get sick from anger. Just go out the door and turn left for the adult hospital. Do you need help with registration? Her eggplant-like face began to quiver. 13. He Chingrui finally moved. He stepped forward, shielding Jianxin behind him, like a protective chihuahua. This is Xingxing's nephew. He thinks I'm being unreasonable. Also, watch your tone. How come I never noticed how vicious you were before? Quick, apologize to Xingxing. I hadn't even had a chance to speak. Jianxing peeked out from behind him, her eyes glistening with tears at just the right moment. Brother Chingrui, her voice was choked with just the right amount of emotion. Is Miss Qin jealous that you're so nice to me? She lowered her head, her lashes fluttering like butterfly wings caught in the wind, but clearly, it was her who cheated first. She raised her eyes, wronged and innocent. How can you be so shameless now? Qin Mian Mian, He Chingrui called my full name, enunciating each syllable like he was reading a verdict. This is your last chance. Apologize to Xingxing, otherwise, he took a deep breath. I wouldn't mind reporting your conduct issues to the hospital. A slow smirk crept across the right side of my mouth. If you don't want to watch, then get out. The cursor was already hovering over the next button on the queuing system. Jianxing suddenly moved. She took a step back and opened the clinic door with a flick of her wrist. Miss Qin, she turned to look at me, her voice suddenly calm. You've gone too far. Don't regret it. She raised her voice toward the corridor outside. Attention parents, this doctor is crazy. She's practicing medicine illegally right now. The corridor fell silent instantly. Then she raised her phone, screen facing outward. A video started playing in the frame, my hair disheveled. I'm huddled in the corner of the bed, trembling all over, screaming at thin air. It was captured during a thunderstorm night, in the midst of a PTSD episode. Only He Chingrui could have done this. A few kids in the hallway froze in their tracks. A little girl pouted and burst into tears. More people gathered around. Whispers spread. People pointed and whispered. Jianqing stood still, unable to suppress the triumph in his eyes. I watched that video, watching the disheveled, out of control, madman-like version of myself on the screen. 14. The scene has descended into total chaos. They're letting mental patients out for appointments. This hospital has lost its mind. Oh my God, is she going to have an episode? People with mental illness can be violent. Everyone, protect the children. Quick! Several parents pulled their children behind them, as if dodging a biological weapon. A man in a floral shirt rolled up his sleeves and was about to charge forward. I glanced at He Qingrui out of the corner of my eye. His foot moved. Come over here. Then, Jianqing gave his sleeve a gentle tug, just a light pull. He froze on the spot, like a statue under a spell of immobility. His gaze slid away from my face, landing on some void at his feet. It never arose again. I watched him, looking at this man, the one who pulled me out of my nightmares on countless stormy nights. Watching him send a video of his girlfriend's meltdown to another woman, as if presenting a prized trophy. My mother jumped from the building in the spring of the year I turned 15, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I came home right after my piano lesson, pushed the door open, and hadn't even put down my backpack yet. She was standing on the balcony, wearing my favorite floral dress. The hem fluttered in the wind like a giant butterfly. She turned to look at me. That one glance, I've remembered it. For 20 years, not hatred, not resentment, it was sadness, reluctance, and madness. She only let go after almost making sure I saw her. Without a trace of reluctance, I rushed to the railing and looked down. She lay fallen among the rose bushes. She had planted those flowers with her own hands just last week. I couldn't tell which were petals and which was blood. I don't remember much of what happened after that. The doctor said it's trauma-induced amnesia. The brain automatically erased that memory. But I know it wasn't a clean deletion, because on every stormy night, she returns. In the instant the lightning flashes, she's standing by my bed, wearing a floral dress, the hem dripping with red water. She said, "Mian Mian, come keep mom company." I told this to Huasiu and He Qingrui. Back then, He Qingrui held me. It's tightly bound. "Mian Mian," he said, "your mother is sick." He stroked my back over and over again. A sick person cannot control their behavior. If she were sober, she wouldn't bear to see you upset, he said. You won't go crazy. He paused. It's okay to be scared of having an episode. I'll always be here for you. 15. To treat the illness, I tried every treatment that held any promise of working. I endured dozens of rounds of electroconvulsive therapy for 2 years. I took medication with side effects so severe they caused my whole body to convulse. Eventually, my illness was truly cured. After 3 years of systematic treatment and evaluation, the hospital finally cleared me to return to clinical practice. That night, he made a cake for me with his own hands. The frosting was a bit lopsided, and the edges were slightly burnt. On it, written in chocolate sauce, were 8 words, wishing the future academician Chin a happy first day at work. He knew, from the first day we met in college, he knew, all my relentless efforts, all the sleepless nights, all the night shifts I've worked. It's for wearing that white coat, it's to prove that I'm different from my mom, and now, he's destroying my dreams with his own hands. I averted my gaze. I stopped looking at him. 16. The situation escalated quickly. The topic rocketed from 17th to 3rd on the trending list in under 20 minutes. Pediatric doctor suffers mental breakdown while on duty. Top-tier hospital illegally hired individual with mental illness who would dare entrust their child to a doctor like this. The comment section is as uniform as a military drill. If the mentally ill can kill without facing consequences, is this hospital planting landmines for its patients? I suggest a thorough investigation. How could someone like this be allowed to practice? How many misdiagnoses has she made? Name and shame the hospital so we can steer clear. Huasiu is applying pressure. I know who's doing it. Although Jianqing is just a small internet celebrity, she knows exactly how to stir up the public. A video, a few marketing accounts, and a few tear-jerking essays. It would be enough to brand me with infamy. I can accept being questioned, I can accept criticism, but I cannot implicate the hospital. That evening, I posted a statement, Qin Mianmian, I have resigned from my former employer and am no longer affiliated with the hospital. Attached are my complete medical records from the past 3 years, condition assessment reports, and a fitness for duty certificate issued by a licensed psychiatrist. The post included 6 long screenshots as images. When I woke up the next day, the comment section had been completely transformed. Wait, she has PTSD, not schizophrenia. These two are way different, okay? Medical records show she has been in recovery for 3 years, and all evaluations are passed. This is more compliant than some doctors who are unfit for work but still insist on working. The top hot comment has over 30,000 likes. It's an ID I recognize. Tutu's mother, Dr. Chin is the best doctor I've ever met. My child has a rare disease. And after visiting hospitals in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou without a diagnosis, it was Dr. Chin who spent 3 months researching, reviewing literature, and finally arranging a consultation with foreign experts. She also helped us apply for a charity fund and personally transferred me 50,000 yuan. The buzz is gradually dying down. This time, Wasiu didn't consult me. He changed He Qingrui's transfer notice to a dismissal notice, citing leaking company secrets as the reason. I knew this wasn't the real reason. But this time, I didn't stop it. Jianxing's social media accounts also started losing followers. First, the collaborating brands gradually terminated their contracts, and then several commercial deals were quietly removed. Her profile was last updated 3 days ago, a statement clarifying the relationship with the president of the Hua Group. Wasiu said, "I'm too soft-hearted." I didn't argue. I thought our paths would never cross again. 17. When I stepped out of the lab, the sun was absolutely brutal. I pulled an all-nighter last night running data for my advisor. Then, someone grabbed my arm. I turned around. Lu Milan, He Qingrui's mother, Mian. She cried urgently, her nails digging into my forearm. "Why haven't you sent Auntie the money yet? We're already halfway through the month. Did you have a fight with Qingrui?" "Oh, it's normal for young couples to argue. A girl should be gentle and understanding. Just swallow your pride and apologize, and this whole thing will blow over. This person spends every waking hour at the mahjong table, and when they lose all their money, they go to their son to beg for more. If they don't get it, they'll pick it outside his office. The year He Qingrui and I first got together, she came to my school to confront me 3 times. He Qingrui was utterly miserable. I arranged to meet her in private and laid out a condition. "Auntie, as long as you behave yourself and stop upsetting Qingrui, I'll give you 10,000 every month." Her eyes lit up instantly, and she agreed without hesitation. For years, every month, I withdrew the money from the trust and gave it to her. The trust was something Uncle Hua forced on me when I left the Hua family, saying he was worried I'd suffer out there. I didn't tell Qingrui because I was afraid it would burden him. For years, at the very least, it's worth over 500,000. I pulled my hand away from hers. "Auntie, He Qingrui and I have broken up." I turned to leave. A loud thud sounded behind me. Lu Milan plopped down onto the floor and started wailing, slapping her thighs. "Oh dear, my life is so miserable. My daughter-in-law is beating her mother-in-law." That voice, sharp and thin, like nails scraping on a blackboard, scraping down the entire street. All right then. I also sat down on the ground. A crowd had already gathered around us, with cell phone cameras pointed straight at us. Lu Milan froze for a moment. I wailed back louder than her, "Auntie, I just lost my job. I really can't afford to keep funding your gambling anymore." My voice is powerful. My diction is clear, my logic is sound, and my information is dense. A competent victim cannot rely on empty wailing. Solid information is the true weapon for rallying a crowd. "Your son cheated, and he and that woman called me a broke loser behind my back, and I've been sending you money for 4 years. Every last penny of yours is lost at the mahjong table. I'm the one who bought the mahjong machine in your living room." The room erupted. Holy crap, this is her mother-in-law. She's a total bloodsucker. The son cheats and the mother demands money. Like mother, like son, they're cut from the same cloth. Lu Milan's face turned from pale to red, then from red to purple. I cried even louder. "Auntie, please let me go. I'm just a poor doctor. I really don't have any money." 18. "Mom, what are you doing?" He Qingrui pushed his way through the crowd. His first move was to help Lu Milan up from the ground. I picked myself up off the floor. "Keep your mother in check," I said, my voice icy. "Don't let her come looking for me again. We're done." "Qin Mian," he enunciated each word, "you're truly despicable." He pointed at my nose. "You got Mr. Hua to fire me, and now you're bullying my mom in public. Of course you don't feel sorry for her. You don't even have a mother. Are you even human?" His face contorted with rage. The word struck a chord in my heart. Lu Milan heard the word dismissal. "Son." She grabbed He Qingrui's arm. You lost your job." He Qingrui glared at me fiercely. "That's right, this bitch cheated on me, and then had her lover boy get me fired." Lu Milan's face contorted instantly. Without a word, she raised her hand. Smack. The force of the slap whipped my head to the side, my left cheek burned, raw as if it had been sanded down. Lou Mylan was still cursing viciously. "How dare you bully my son? I'll beat you to death, you shameless little whore." I looked at He Ching-rui and raised my hand. Smack. The slap landed solidly on his face. He covered his face, incredulous. "You dare hit me?" I pulled out my phone from my pocket, unlocked it, swiped to the banking app, and opened the transfer record, slapped into his hand. "Here's the statement of the remittances I've made to your mother over the years, 662,000. I'll let the small change go. Just pay me 660,000. He Ching-rui looked down at the screen, his fingers trembled. "Impossible," he murmured. "We've always been AA. When did you?" His voice trailed off, then he slowly turned his head to look at Lou Mylan. "Mom." Lou Mylan's eyes darted away as she took a step back. "Mom," is what she said. "True." Lou Mylan's jaw tightened. That was her own choice to give it. I didn't force her." Her voice rose, as if to bolster her courage. "She didn't let me tell you. How is that my fault? I didn't ask for it." He Ching-rui opened his mouth. No sound came out. Lou Mylan spoke with increasing confidence. "Besides, you've been dating her for 4 years. So what's the big deal about her giving some money, isn't it? Natural for a woman to spend money on her in-laws. I haven't even complained that she's giving too little." He Ching-rui's face turned pale. I watched this mother and son. Suddenly, I felt like laughing. "You pay this debt for her. Installments are fine, with interest calculated at the bank's current rate." I paused. "If she can't repay it." I curl my lips into a smile. "Anyway, I don't have a job now, so I have plenty of time. See you in court." 19. I'm leaving, left decisively, without even looking back. The next day, the lawyer's letter arrived on time at He Ching-rui's rental house. No mercy for ungrateful people. I thought this matter was over until 3 days later. Top trending, a deep red explosive. Beijing elites heir suspected of murder. Clicking in, a top-pinned anonymous tip on Washin's account was forwarded over 30,000 times. It claims that when Huasiu was 20, he pushed his stepmother down the stairs and later disguised it as a suicide. The story is detailed and convincing. It includes specific details like the time, location, relationships, and even the fact that the villa area had a power outage that day, with no surveillance footage, all meticulously crafted to seem real. The KOLs below forwarded the content in a coordinated, matrix-like fashion, as if acting on a direct order. I've said it all along, these family-run businesses are built on a foundation of human lives. If he was capable of murder at 20, how many more has he harmed in the last decade? Death penalty. We demand the death penalty. The sheer toxicity in the comments section is palpable, even through the screen. I quickly logged into the Melon God admin panel. Incorrect password. Try again. Incorrect password. Third attempt. Your account was logged in from a different location. To reset, please verify using your mobile number. He Ching-rui. I took a deep breath and clicked forgot password. The verification code was sent to my phone. 30 seconds later, the account password was successfully reset. Another 30 seconds later, the account Melon Muncher Supreme showed as deactivated. I arrived at the Hua group. The top floor conference room was packed with people. Huasiu sat in the main seat. Across from him, several uncles were passionately speaking. "Do you have any idea how much this will tank our stock price? We put you in charge because we thought you could steady the ship, and look what's happened. The place is a circus of bad press. I move that we convene an emergency board meeting to reconsider the CEO appointment." A pack of wolves. Huasiu remained silent. He sat quietly, idly twirling a pen between his fingers, as if utterly indifferent. After the meeting, Huasiu was the last to come out. He saw me and paused for a moment, then a smile spread across his face. "Greasy, annoying, as always. Yo," he said, "you're bringing me a hat again this time." I stood still, not responding. He walked over, as usual, raising his hand to ruffle my hair. I grabbed his wrist. "Brother," he froze. "Thank you, and the Hua family, for protecting me all these years." I looked at him. "But I've grown up." I let go of his wrist. "This time, let me protect you." He seemed to sense something and quickly picked up his phone. "Every trending topic is about me." Caption: I am Qin Mianmian, Huasiu's sister. Regarding that incident from 20 years ago, I have something to say. When I was 15, my mother, suffering from a hereditary mental illness, jumped to her Death right in front of me. Hwasiu was in the study at the time and was not present at the scene. The Hwa family publicly claimed he was there to protect me. In order to shift the focus of public attention, I have been distancing myself from the Hwa family these years to undergo psychological treatment. My condition is now stable, and there is a licensed practitioner's evaluation report available for verification. The above statement is true, and I am willing to bear legal responsibility. 15 minutes after the video was posted, the official Weibo account of Pinyin Jinghua posted a scanned copy of the case closure document from that year. The investigation concluded that the deceased died by suicide, ruling out the possibility of a criminal case. This is hereby clarified. No internet rumors. No, it is reported. Black words on white paper. Official seal pressed at the edge. The comment section seemed to be frozen. Then the first hot comment surfaced. So the Hwa family has been hiding their stepdaughter all these years, to protect a child who witnessed her mother's suicide. I once called Hwasiu a murderer. I'm sorry. Wait, so those rumors about Dr. Chin being was mistress, she's actually his stepsister, no blood relation. Hey, that's not the point. Indeed, it's not the main issue. I put down my phone. The Hwa family has always been afraid of me being exposed, afraid I'd remember that day, afraid my illness would return, afraid those old wounds would be dug up and laid bare for all to see. Chingrui's companionship once helped me recover from my illness. That's the truth. When he said, "You won't go mad," he meant it. He pulled me out of the nightmare on that stormy night, and that much is true, but only for now. I have to learn to walk forward on my own. 20 I began making public appearances as a member of the Hwa family. Jiang Lian showed immense enthusiasm for this. I was immediately met with a perfect curtsy. Your Highness. I cleared my throat and raised my voice. Rise, my loyal subject. She grinned and came closer, linking her arm with mine as we walked inside. Your Highness, have you heard any news about your ex lately? I glanced at her. She immediately got into the zone, lowering her voice, her eyes practically burning through her false lashes with gossipy fervor. Secretary, he has been blacklisted across the industry. I heard someone saw him selling wine at a club, you know, the kind where he wears a vest, a bow tie, and opens bottles for rich women. She tisked twice. If I had known it would come to this, I wouldn't have started in the first place. She moved a little closer, and oh, Miss Canary has hooked up with the third son of the Lin family. She paused, lowering her voice even more. You know, the one everyone in the circle knows about, the one with the particular tastes. She didn't spell it out, but I got the picture. They're actually kind of perfect for each other. And then we ran into them, you know, the kind of encounter where you were just gossiping about someone. And the next moment, they're there in the flesh, standing right in front of you with a drink in hand. Jiang Lian and I exchanged a look of utter shock. Jianxing, arm in arm with third young Master Lin, was standing right by our table. She wore a champagne-colored gown. A bruise on her collarbone, not fully concealed, showed a faint purple hue through 3 layers of foundation. Miss Qin, young Master Lin raised his glass, his smile warm and enthusiastic. I hear you're a friend of our Xing. Xing, you must come visit my estate sometime. He clearly had no idea who I was. They only knew I was from the Hwa family and wanted to cozy up to me. Jianxing stood beside him, a perfectly polite smile on her lips, but her eyes were fixed on me, like a needle dipped in poison. I set down my glass. We're not friends. We don't know each other well. Young Master Lin's smile froze on his face. He turned his head and looked at Jianxing. The glance was brief, but Jianxing's face went pale. He raised his hand. Slap. The slap landed with a sharp, resounding crack, sending Jianxing staggering sideways. Her cheek visibly began to swell. You bitch, you were the one who said you were close with Miss Qin. That's the only reason I brought you. Jianxing covered her face, apologizing profusely. I'm sorry, young Master Lin, it's my fault for not making myself clear. She shrank back, her shoulders trembling slightly. That posture suggested it wasn't the first time neither Jiang Lian nor I said a word. No one forced her when she used the Hwa family as a stepping stone to climb the social ladder. Now that she's latched onto this thorny vine, it's a choice she made herself. Adults must live with the consequences of their own choices. I stood up. He took a couple of steps, then paused. He looked back. 21. Oh, right. Jianxing looked up. Regarding the legal letter about the rumors you fabricated about the Hwa family, I said, it has been sent to the address under your name. Remember to check it. I had someone investigate what happened that day. Exposés, KOL networks, and trending topic promotions. Qingrui posted the first thread using Gossip God. Jianxin contacted the marketing company, and Hwa's rival paid the bill. One link after another, almost sending Hwasiu to the sewing machine. Family is my bottom line this time. I'm going to send both of them in to destroy the sewing machines. The banquet is over. I had the driver take Jianglian home first, while I stayed in the lounge to sober up. Someone is knocking on the door. I thought it was the waiter bringing the hangover medicine. The footsteps stopped right in front of me. Mian Mian. I opened my eyes. He Qingrui stood 3 meters away. He wore a hotel waiter's vest. His bow tie askew. He had lost a lot of weight. His jawline was sharp as if chiseled, his cheekbones protruding, and his eye sockets sunken. No longer the spirited person he once was. He held the hangover remedy in his hand, wanting to feed it to me. I turned my head away. What are you doing? He paused, then crouched down, looking up at me. His eyes slowly reddened. Mian Mian, his voice choked. It was all my fault before. Let's not break up, okay? I looked at him and suddenly felt like laughing. You're the one who cheated and spread lies. Did you get the lawyer's letter? His shoulders slumped. I'm sorry, Mian Mian. He knelt before me. His knees hit the thick carpet with a dull thud. I just lost my head. It was Jianxing who seduced me. It's over between us now. He looked up, like a drowning man grasping for his last straw. I know you only said you were pregnant with Mr. Was child back then because you were angry with me. You still have feelings for me, don't you? His voice trembled. Otherwise, you wouldn't be jealous, you wouldn't be angry. I looked down at him. This person, the person I had loved for 4 years, there you kneel at my feet, a wretched, pitiful, and utterly destitute sight. I thought my heart would soften. But it didn't. I just feel so very tired. Qingrui. He looked up. I only did it to get back at you, I said, enunciating each word slowly and deliberately. That's all there is to it. We're through. Don't come bothering me again. His expression shattered. It shattered like a mirror, right down the middle. He wanted to say something more. The door was smashed open. Jianxing burst into the room. 22. Her dress was torn open at the thigh, her hair disheveled, and half her face was swollen. Her makeup was completely ruined, like a female ghost who had just crawled out of a well. Her finger trembled as she pointed at me. Qin Mian Mian, you did this to me. It was you. A glint of metal flashed by. I didn't see what it was. I only saw Qingrui suddenly stand up and block in front of me. As he fell, his eyes were still on me. Blood spread from his chest, deep red, quickly soaking into the carpet. I knelt down. CPR. Once, 2 strikes, 3 strikes. My hands were slick and sticky with blood. I kept counting the beats, not daring to stop. He showed no reaction. When the ambulance arrived, his eyes were still open. As he got into the vehicle, those eyes slowly closed. Finally, he said, I'm sorry. His fingers slipped from my palm. I stood there, my hands covered in blood. The ambulance lights outside were still flashing, red and blue, one after another. I didn't cry. It just reminded me of the time, many years ago, when he first offered me sunflower seeds. He said, hello, Qingrui from computer science, I said. Hello, Qin Mian Mian from pediatrics. The sunlight was golden that day, and the tree-lined avenue was carpeted with fallen plane leaves. We all thought we had all the time in the world. Jianxing was sentenced to death. My passionate first love came to its final curtain. No applause, no bouquet. One day, Jianglian asked me, do you hate him? I thought about it for a long time. No hate, I said. From now on, I won't buy 5 spice-flavored seeds anymore. 23. Later, I went to South Sudan to work as a doctor with Medicine Sans Frontieres. It was incredibly tough there, with temperatures hitting 40 degrees Celsius. The power would cut out 3 times a day. It was common for the overhead light to go out right in the middle of a surgery. Malaria, war wounds, malnourished children, and pregnant women with swollen bellies who had walked for 3 days to reach me for delivery. I encountered medical cases I never thought I'd see. I also faced life and death situations I could never have imagined. Once, a 7-year-old boy stopped breathing in my arms. His mother didn't cry, just silently picked him up and walked into the sunset. At that moment, I suddenly thought of my mother. I remembered the last glance she gave me. Then I realized, it's been a long time since I had that dream. The hem of her dress was no longer stained with blood. She stood on the balcony, turned back, and smiled at me. Then she dissolved into a gentle light. That guy, Hozyu, he says he's 100% against you coming. Yet, he flies over every single month. That evening, a rare moment of leisure, we walked along the beach. He took out an envelope from the inner pocket of his trench coat, brown paper, worn at the corners, with a dried rose taped to the flap, found in my aunt's old art gallery. It was tucked inside a sketchbook. I took it. My fingers trembled slightly. The envelope was light, so light it feels like there's nothing inside. The letter paper is yellowed, and the creases are almost tearing. The handwriting is smudged and rewritten. Some Parts blurred by water stains, others rubbed rough by an eraser, like the person who wrote it, struggling in immense pain, trying to place every word just right. Dear Meow Meow, I hope this letter finds you well. Mom's condition has been getting worse lately. Sometimes she can't tell reality from illusion, and sometimes she doesn't remember what she's said or done. If I ever do anything to hurt you, please believe it's not what Mom intends. I bit my lip hard. The only thing your mother is grateful for in her life is giving birth to you. You are your mother's pride. Your mother loves you, Mian Mian. If one day your mother is no longer here, don't be too sad. Mom just went to find her own freedom. Live a good life for Mom. Love always, Mom. The final stroke was drawn out, long and lingering. Writing this letter had drained her of every last ounce of strength. I pressed the letter to my chest. The paper was thin. Across the span of more than a decade, across the divide between life and death, I think I finally hugged her. Not the one lying in a pool of blood, not the one with her skirt dripping with rain, the one who knelt down to tie my shoelaces when I was 3. It was her, smiling as she said, "You did so well today, Mian Mian." It was her, who sealed the last letter of my life with that withered rose. I broke down and wept, and Huasiu remained silent, resolute. Stand by my side, Mom. I promise you, I'll go and see the vast world for you. The end.